What's going on, guys? I'm Michael Anthony, and thank you for checking out my article in this month's Shutter Magazine, guys. This month is all about reception lighting, and this is the second article that I've written in Shutter Magazine about reception lighting. So thank you for checking out the first one if you had. If not, definitely go back and check it out. So guys, this month we're taking what we talked about in our first article, taking it just a step further, breaking down some of our lighting setups and some of our philosophy when it comes to lighting receptions. So you guys can read the article for a ton of information, but a couple of things that I want to just go over real quick with you. Number one, if you guys are struggling with how to light your receptions, always start with one light on camera. That is the first thing that I recommend doing to make sure that you can get your bearings first, and then it'll also let you know where you're going to need to add light if there isn't light there. See, the reason that I typically will use more than one light during a reception is because I'm trying to create dimension, or I'm trying to create a little bit of a energy on the dance floor, if you will, right? So oftentimes, if we're shooting a bride and groom during their first dance, we're typically not using our on-camera light, but we do have it there just in case our couple will step outside of the realm of our flashes, so that we have a light and we can always fall back on that if we need it. Now, when we get into our toast, now our off-camera or our on-camera flash is going to be turned off, and we're going to be moving those lights around to make sure that we can get that three-dimensionality. We're going to be using highlight and shadow to help tell story and convey emotion whenever we need it, right? Again, as an artist, you're the storyteller, so you're going to be able to make those creative decisions. I could just tell you the techniques that you can use to help you along the way when you want to tell a specific story, right? When we get into our dance floor shots, this is where a lot of people tend to struggle, right? Now, I think it's really important on a crowded dance floor to use an on-camera flash, and the reason for that is because oftentimes you have very little control of the things that are going on, right? That means that if you have lights in the corner of a room, whether it's 2, 3, whatever it may be, if somebody in front of your subject raises their hand, they can cast a bad shadow on the face. And this used to happen to me all the time. So we incorporated the on-camera flash to this particular lighting setup, and it helped us solve those problems. We usually use that light to fill in the shadows created by the off-camera flashes, and also to just flatten out the light just in general a little bit. And it helps to create a really, really flattering light on the dance floor, but still be able to capture that energy that we're going for. Lastly, guys, make sure that you are matching the color of your ambient light or the dominant ambient light source. So what happens oftentimes in a reception, let's just say you're shooting indoors and it's 5 or 6 o'clock, the sun hasn't quite gone down yet. Let's say the lights inside are incandescent, the light outside is obviously daylight, so you have two competing light sources. Well, which one are you going to end up gelling for, right? Well, I always recommend gelling for your dominant light source. So if the lights inside are brighter, we're going to be putting orange lights on our flashes to match that light source, and if they're not as bright as the light coming in through the window, then we will just leave the daylight balance on our flash by not putting gels on them, and then we can get a much more flattering picture when we're not trying to overpower one light source that happens to be much brighter, and we don't have to kill off all of our ambient light, right? So a couple tools that I recommend, if you guys are using the ProPhoto A1, which is my flash of choice, awesome. If not, any normal speed lights. But when we get into modifiers, let's talk about the Magmod system. Really love it. Very easy to change your gels, change your colors, and modify that light using either the spear, the bounce, or your different gels and grids that you have as well too. When we get into shooting receptions, I don't typically put things like soft boxes on my cameras, on my lights, because what ends up happening is it becomes obtrusive. And remember, guys, when you are shooting weddings, you have to be focused on the client experience, and you have to balance that with the needs of creating certain types of images, right? So that's all I have for you guys right now. Again, I am always willing to help. If you guys have any questions regarding reception lighting or even off-camera flash in general, please shoot me an email, info@michaelanthonyphotography.com, or you guys can find me on Instagram @michaelanthonyphotography. Thank you guys again for checking out my article in Shutter Magazine, and we'll catch you next month.